Oh, they're setting up his slides. Sorry, Dave.
Okay, so you hear me? Active angel investors in North America. The number 2 report is the most active incubators. We select about 70 incubators in the entire Bay Area. And the third one, the most recent one, is the most active new venture capitalist in North America. Again, you can find all the details on f50.io/report. So just a little bit of statistic. In the last 5 years, F50 had hosted 23 summits now. We had presented 400 companies to our investor network. And we invested 30 of them. So today's story and my presentation is the end of the super unicorn. I'm sure most of you already know the failure of WeWork IPO, but it's not the starting point. Has been a party for over 10 years. What happens last 10 years? This data is all the venture deals invested over 100 million per deal over the last 10 years from Crunchbase. As you can see that actually there's a significant downturn started Q4 last year for the mega investment. WeWork failure is not the end. WeWork's failure is a given. So that's the super mega venture deals. Let's take a look at earlier stage investment. Again, this data from Crunchbase is public. As you can see that for all the investment under $1 million, it peaked in 2014. Slowed down every year and had decreased by over 40% since 2014. Remember last 5 years, starting 2006, 2007, 2008, there's a crowdfunding, there's Chinese money, there's Middle East money, there's money all over the place flooded in Silicon Valley. Imagine what if those money didn't come. This is another number. Showed globally there are 20 million entrepreneurs on meetup.com, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of WeWork. It's a coincidence. I started the group called the Silicon Valley Entrepreneurs and Startups 12 years ago. Right now, it is the largest meetup community in entire West Coast. It's number 2 globally. So let's take a look at some numbers. The party. On the left is the number of people attending meetup from my community. On the right are the new members join every month. It's a clear indication that the party started around 2012, 2013. The party actually already ended in 2017. But as the previous numbers show, the unicorn investment is lag behind of the earlier stage investment for several years. Okay? So this is the global statistic about all the companies get funded in the last 10 years. Again, the same number match with Crunchbase data. In 2014 and 15, it peaked. These are the number of total venture capital money flooded into the venture ecosystem globally last 10 years, and show the similar data in 2014 and 2015 it peaked. This is US Department of Labor statistic about the number of companies died and births every year. The death ratio is increasing every year. So clearly there was a party. I wouldn't call once upon a time, but a couple years. Some people still live in the party. Some people know party is over. Those are the people who founded all the earlier stage startups, notable seed funds. They're booming about earlier stage investment in 2014, 2015, 2016. And also, those are the different accelerators, very active accelerators last 10 years, who are also part of the party. So where's the money? Who funded all the party? The money all over the place. Worldwide, all the rich people, mid-class people were dreaming to make money from the super unicorns, from China, from India, from Europe, from Latin America. Were dreaming to be part of the party, means make money with Uber, WeWork, Airbnb, go public. So clearly, the party is over. This is the longest party over 10 years for everybody in the venture ecosystem. So Uber, Airbnb, and WeWork create a model. The model is that use VC's money, buy growth without profit. That's the real end of the super unicorn. So we predict that the end of unicorn is the beginning of coming back of the venture ecosystem like 10 years ago, where there are no such things called super unicorn. If you remember, many of people in this room did investment 10 years ago. What is the criteria we do investment? There are many things you look at that time. Now you look at today, that was the correct answer. Because the super unicorns disrupt all the venture capital's business model. Everybody looking for growth. Everybody was looking for the number one. So we believe that corporate and angels are the biggest winner next few years in the venture ecosystem. And there's no more easy money. However, the end of the super unicorn is not the end of the venture ecosystem. Even though in 2018, globally, the venture and crowdfunding and angel investment added together, only 8% of the company funded in the startup ecosystem. So this means that regardless how high the party was, the venture ecosystem only contributed a small percentage of the funding to the global startup ecosystem. So this is the quant-based projection of the Q1 this year. As you can see that there's definitely a slowdown in the earlier stage. And there was a slowdown in the late stage already. So that means that it's a slowdown everywhere, from seed to growth to late stage to super unicorn. We strongly believe that corporate will be a significant new power next few years. And the corporate investment in ventures last few years has at least doubled in the venture ecosystem. Another trend, we are seeing that the earlier stage investment will be picking up very soon. It's not going to be as hot people had hoped in 2013 and 2014 like a party. But we do believe that earlier stage startup as well as the venture investment will go back to nature, the real business. So we had announced it, our F50 Elevate Cohort 2 with 8 startups. This year is our first time put the real program together to support a small number of companies. F50, again, had been around for 5 years. We presented over 400 companies to our network. We have lots of successful records. Those are the companies who had great success. A couple of them, Nerx is VC's top 10 companies in 2 years ago, and we have a couple exit in our network as well. What we want is that we want to group our energy, our resources to support a small number of amazing companies, help them to understand the new environment of a new landscape of the venture ecosystem, and also help them not only improve their branding and the network, but also help them to grow their business, help them to grow users, help them to make money. That's the most important thing for the next decade. So this is a picture we took in our closed-door boot camp a few weeks ago. We had hosted 3 boot camps last 3 weeks. And I'm sure our startups, the 8 startups, will be presenting very soon. And we had assembled a group of mentors. We have 14 mentors right now. We would like to invite many of you, you have a strong interest to help the startup in our ecosystem.